All right, let's jump right into this explainer. If you've ever watched a flock of birds or a school of fish and thought, how on earth do we get robots to do that without crashing into each other? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're demystifying leader-follower control. We're going to break down the basics so that even a total beginner can grasp exactly how these multi-robot systems are programmed, organized, and deployed safely into our daily environments. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the leader-follower concept. Then, simulating with Turtlesim. After that, navigating obstacles together. Then we'll compare control methods. And finally, we'll look at the future of coordination. Starting off with Section 1, the leader-follower concept. This is really the foundation of robotic teamwork. So, what exactly is leader-follower formation control? The elegance of this core mechanism is just fascinating. It's a coordination method where one designated robot acts as the boss, directing the path, while the follower robots just focus entirely on maintaining a specific relative distance and angle from that leader. Think of it exactly like a tour guide leading a group of tourists. The guide maps out the complex route and makes all the navigational decisions, right? And the followers, well, they just need to focus on staying close and keeping their proper distance from one another.
Now, why does this matter outside the lab? The crucial point is that by sharing the brain power, these coordinated swarms can tackle massive jobs way faster than one single isolated machine ever could. Think about rapid search and rescue missions, where a coordinated group can sweep vast, dangerous regions quickly, literally increasing the chances of finding survivors. Or synchronized agricultural harvesting, where they plant or pick crops with exact timing, boosting output and cutting labor costs. And for sure, in automated logistics, this forms the absolute backbone of highly efficient distribution systems.
Moving right along to Section 2, Simulating with Turtlesim, where we bring the concept to life.
How do developers actually test these systems before unleashing expensive, heavy robots into the real world? They use a simulated environment called Turtlesim. It's a fantastic, beginner-friendly digital sandbox that lets us see these abstract algorithms in action. Setting it up is basically a three-step process. First, we spawn multiple digital robots, our turtles, in completely random starting positions, just scattered everywhere. Second, we pick one to be the leader and assign the rest as followers. And third, we establish the target distance parameters, telling the followers exactly how far back they need to stay. It sounds super technical, but it boils down to an elegant sequence where scattered digital turtles independently calculate how to fall into an organized column right behind their guide.
So, how does a follower actually know where to move? It uses something called a go-to-goal PID controller. Basically, it's a continuous, hyper-focused feedback loop. The controller's entire job is to stare at the leader, calculate how far off it is in distance and direction, and immediately adjust its speed and turning to minimize those errors. By just running that simple error-correcting math over and over again, the followers seamlessly lock right into formation.
Section 3, Navigating Obstacles Together. This is the ultimate stress test.
Okay, driving on an empty digital grid is one thing, but the real world is messy and completely unpredictable. So what happens when the formation suddenly hits an unexpected wall or a pedestrian steps in the way? If the followers are rigidly glued to the leader without any awareness of their surroundings, you just get a massive, chaotic pileup. For these systems to actually be viable, they need a dynamic escape plan. And the source material highlights a really brilliant obstacle avoidance sequence. Step 1, the swarm approaches the barrier. Step 2, and this is the cool part, they actually split the formation to independently bypass the object. Step 3, they pass the obstacle safely. And Step 4, once they're clear, they seamlessly merge back together into their original formation. It perfectly illustrates how adaptability is hard-coded right into the system. They can fluidly break apart and reform on the fly without ever losing track of the leader's ultimate goal.
But wait, the adaptability goes even further. The research notes that formations can dynamically switch into a single-file column to safely navigate tight corridors and sharp corners. Just imagine a wide, horizontal line of delivery bots suddenly needing to funnel through a narrow alleyway. This built-in safety instinct ensures that the whole squad can survive bottleneck scenarios without losing their leader or scraping the walls.
All right, Section 4, Comparing Control Methods. Let's look at the brains behind the operation.
Now that we've seen what these robots do, let's talk about how they are programmed to actually think about these formations. It's a classic battle, strict rules versus adaptable instincts. On one hand, you have geometric control. This approach relies on strict rules to maintain predefined mathematical shapes, like perfect circles or straight lines. It's very rigid. On the other hand, we have behavior-based control. This relies on giving robots adaptable instincts and allowing decentralized decision-making based on local conditions. Each approach has its own distinct advantages, completely depending on the environment.
Let's break this down a bit more with a comparison table derived from the research. Geometric control is highly efficient and straightforward, but really only in stable, predictable spaces. It severely struggles to adapt to dynamic changes. Then there's the potential field method. This literally treats robots like particles in a magnetic field. They are physically repelled from obstacles and attracted to the leader. It allows for incredibly smooth navigation, but the weakness is they can get trapped in oscillatory loops, essentially getting stuck in a corner, just vibrating back and forth. Finally, behavior-based control. It is decentralized and incredibly flexible, making it great for highly complex areas. The catch? Because every robot is making localized decisions, it is really hard to coordinate stable, predictable group behavior. Basically, there is no magic one-size-fits-all brain. It's all about choosing the right control method for the specific environment.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the future of coordination and the ethics in the urban landscape.
As these leader-follower algorithms leap out of simulators like Turtlesim and land right on our city streets in the form of delivery fleets, mastering the code is literally just step one. We have to look at the human impact in a very real way. The source points out several vital challenges for urban deployments. First up is safety. If an algorithm fails to recognize the pedestrian as a dynamic obstacle, the consequences are severe. Second is data privacy. These robots are covered head to toe in cameras and LiDAR, which are advanced laser sensors. So we absolutely must ensure the data they collect about our neighborhoods stays securely protected. Third is algorithmic bias. We have to make sure the software routing these delivery swarms doesn't unfairly prioritize certain areas over others. And lastly, workforce displacement. As these autonomous swarms take over last-mile logistics, society will need to adapt to the impact on the manual laborers who previously did those jobs, perhaps through serious retraining initiatives.
So, as autonomous swarms seamlessly integrate into our daily lives, how do we actually balance that incredible technological efficiency with our ethical responsibilities to society? I'm going to leave you with that provocative thought to ponder. Because, while splitting and merging around a digital block in Turtlesim is a fascinating mathematical achievement, ensuring these systems can safely and fairly share the real world with us, well, that is the true grand challenge of our robotic future. Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.